So, good evening and welcome to all to the internship meeting of the seventh internship meeting that we are having. And last time we had a very interesting session from Marlin ma'am about networking and marketing and entrepreneurship. And today's session is also going to be very interesting because we have Debanjana ma'am here, who is an expert in communication techniques, verbal, non-verbal, which is very important part of today's life. See, many of us are, into this digital world and you are able to write well, but when it comes to speaking, some of us are not able to speak fluently. The words just don't come out because the reading habits have decreased. And as a result, what is happening is when we go to interviews or when we are facing some, the questionnaire or we are answering some questions, we are not able to do justice to our thoughts. So you may have so much to share, but when you have to express it, there is a loss of words. So that is why in real life, they say that there was an industrial age, there was the computer age, but tomorrow's world is going to belong to people who can communicate well. So if you are not able to communicate things, people are not able to understand what is being said. So it's comes under soft skills. So you are all learning hard skills, which is your core subjects and technology and all that. But at the same time, we are ignoring the soft skills part. So today's session is very important because this is also part of our personalities, how we speak, how we conduct ourselves, how we present ourselves. And when you are going for an interview, how do you answer to the point? So ma'am is here to explain all that. And I'm sure this session is going to be very useful. She is an expert in English and also done a lot of courses from professional institutes like IIM on design thinking and so on. So this is going to be very valuable, whatever she shares today. And based on this, I'm sure when you are going to do your projects and when you're going to apply later on in life to universities and maybe jobs later on, all these tips that ma'am is going to give today is going to be part of our learning. So I invite Devanjana ma'am to take over the proceedings of the session.
Thank you so much, Matthew sir. Uh, and welcome to you all, and a very good evening to all of you. The hype that Matthew sir has created, I don't think I'll be able to do much justice to it. I'll be speaking fluently on what I usually observe on a day-to-day basis. And I just hope that it kind of, helps you in some ways. And I just hope that you are able to benefit and express yourself a little better after today's session. So that's what I really think about. And let's begin. So basically, I am PGT English teacher, but I feel very happy and very confidently I call myself an expressionist because you know what, we all have thoughts in our minds, and when we are able to fluently express our thoughts, it kind of cuts across and it reaches the person who's standing opposite to you, and the person who's trying to understand what you're communicating. So, yes, as Sir said, communication is the key, and that is the soft skill, right? So, how well you are groomed, how well you can communicate, how well you can communicate your perspective. A lot depends on that. Of course, your academics is very, very important. Your marks are also very important. But honestly, when you actually hit life, after school, after university, when you go for work, or even for your higher studies, maybe you go for the counseling, if there is supposedly a choice to be made between a 90% student, like a person scoring 90% and a person scoring say 93%, it is very important that the person who communicates better, even if that person is standing at a 90% or maybe an 87%, will have a better chance to get selected, because that 87 can be pulled up to 93, with proper training and instructions and a lot of, application based training. But communication is key. Communication develops on an everyday basis. So it's very important that we communicate uh, correctly, properly, and most importantly, appropriately. Okay, that is very important. So I'm going to share a PPT, sir, with your permission, so that with kind of
Yes, ma'am,
the
please.
flow is better. I hope it's visible to all of you. Is the PPT visible? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So, yeah. And it would be great if you could, ask questions, or if you have anything that you need to be told, a, repeated. I need to repeat something. You're not very clear with it. It'll be great if you can just, communicate that. And today we are basically dealing with communication strategies. So it's important that we communicate openly. So the first thing is, let's understand what is communication. Communication is not only words, communication is the way you look at a person, the tone you use, the kind of body language that you are showing, your exchange of thoughts, your exchange of information. Everything comes under communication. The clarity of understanding perspectives, that is also communication. And communication, the basis of communication is acceptance of perspective. For example, suppose I am standing opposite to you, right? And if I raise my right hand, okay, and I say that my right hand is on my right side, okay, and can say, no, ma'am, your right hand is on our left side, right? So, but the thing is that I know that my right hand is on my right side, right? So you are correct from your angle, because according to you my right hand is coming to your left, but I am also correct from my perspective, right? What do we need to do? We just need to shift sides in order to understand that both the perspectives are absolutely clear. That is the only thing, and that's the basis of communication. How well can I communicate? How well can I make you understand that this is what I'm saying and this is what is according to my perspective? So, communication is key, because it's not only verbal, it's non-verbal also. It has its emotional components as well. It has clarity, understanding, and an expression of thoughts. So that is what is communication. How do we excel in communication? Let's understand that better. So why communication is important? Because we are human beings, right? And we are living in a particular society. And this particular society is basically made from an exchange of thoughts and ideas. So when I am communicating to someone, that person has to trust me. That person needs to have confidence in what I'm trying to say, in my thoughts, in my ideas. And I need to make sure that I am being able to grab that trust and that confidence. So my communication will actually build that trust and confidence in that particular person. Communication also enhances professional and personal relationships. Of course, if I can communicate better, if I can express my thoughts clearly, if that other person is being able to understand my thoughts clearly, of course, my relationship will be uh, based on connection and a kind of, establishment of thoughts and ideas. So we will be able to bond together better. It helps express ideas clearly. It is key to leadership, teamwork, and problem solving. Of course, we all face problems anywhere that we go, even in your, most of you are students, so in your student life also there are many problems which crop up. The idea is not to escape but to solve the issue. What can solve the issue? Only communication can solve the issue. How well am I being able to maintain my calm? What am I saying? My words, the choice of my words, what am I expressing? How honestly am I expressing? The authenticity of my words. All these matter a lot in communication, right? So, communication is key to leadership. Why do you think most leaders most leaders are wonderful orators for that matter? Because of their command over communication. They exactly know how to get into the minds of the people, the crowd, and how to influence them, how to motivate them, how to encourage them, how to win them over to their side. So that is what communication does. Communication helps you to express your ideas better and makes the other person understand that this is what I'm trying to say and this is what is supposed to be. Or rather, you have to believe in me, the fact that I'm saying my words are authentic. Okay. So it is key to leadership. It is key to teamwork. If I am working somewhere, I need to work as a team. I'm sure you all do group projects, right? So in a group project also, I can't just do my part and say that my part is over. You have to communicate well with your group members. You have to communicate well with the ideas, with the thoughts, with the application processes, and then you have to, work on the organization and the presentation part. So that is again communication. How well do you communicate with your team members? That affects your teamwork. And communication creates a positive first impression. My first impression is formed within 7 to 10 seconds. Yes, 7 to 10 seconds. It just takes 7 seconds to 10 seconds to form the first impression about a particular person. How well are you communicating within those first few seconds? And what is your consistent effort towards building an effective communication? So, their communication is key. Verbal communication, there are basically two types of communication. One is verbal and one is non-verbal. Verbal communication, the words you choose, your vocabulary, the tone you are using, how clear are your words. Sometimes what happens is, suppose we are nervous and we are speaking a particular sentence. Sometimes what we do is the last two words now we swallow. We're not very clear with our words. So the last two words may be slightly, or we are in a hurry to complete that sentence and move on to the next. So the last two words we kind of gulp down. That is not effective communication. Everything that you speak needs to be very clear. Your pronunciation needs to be correct. When I say pronunciation, your pronunciation, you cannot say your pronunciation has to be. So these are very subtle things. So you have to be very careful about your phonetics. Okay, now, for example, little grammatical errors also, like suppose I ask you for scissors. Can you pass me those scissors? Am I correct in saying, can you pass me those scissors? Or can you give me a scissor? Is that correct? No. Can you give me the pair of scissors? It's actually pair of scissors, pair of trousers, right? Some people will, when we speak in a very colloquial language, we say pants. It's not pants, it's pants. Okay, there are communication is really based on pronunciation also. Okay, so whatever you pronounce, your words are very, very effective. So when you are speaking, your pronunciation needs to be correct. We have to be very particular about the phonetics of it. Then your use of vocabulary. I am absolutely not saying that you all need to be Shashi Tharoor. No, not required at all. Okay. Speak simple English. Speak English that everybody can understand, but speak effective English. Okay. So, no flowery language is required at all. Your sentences should be very short, very crisp, and very smart. That way, your communication is very clear. If you are beating around the bush in order to express your thought gets lost immediately. I will not be able to understand what that person is trying to say. Okay. So it is important that I convey my thoughts in a very clear manner. So this is called economy of expression. Okay. I economize my expression. Whatever I'm trying to say, I say with the least use of words. I don't have to use a long sentence in order to communicate my thoughts. My fluency in everything, if you say, then I just wanted to say, actually, na, ma'am, I really, I don't really know what to say. This kills the communication process. You have to be very fluent with your ideas. You have to use your pace, control your pace. What is pace? Pace is the speed of it. How are you designing your sentences? How are you designing your speech? Okay, so that is the pace. What is the pace that I'm going to use? Is it very slow? Then if it's very slow, it'll become very monotonous. If it's very fast, then I'm not giving the other person the effective time to understand what I'm speaking. And pauses are very important. When you have to think, you take your pause in a very intelligent way. You pose a rhetoric, okay, and you give that person some time to think, and in that those few seconds, you kind of, gather your thoughts, your ideas, and you know exactly what I'm to speak next. So all these are little things which affect verbal communication a lot. Non-verbal communication, your body language. If you're slouching like this, then I'm not interested, clearly. Okay? If you're sitting upright, you're showing a lot of enthusiasm. Your posture, your gestures. See, as I'm speaking, I'm using my hands a lot. Okay? So that shows that I am spontaneous. For example, okay, I'm not reading from anything. If I am to sit like this, and then I have a script right in front of my screen and I'm reading for the script, in a second you will understand. 5 seconds you'll take and you'll understand ma'am is reading from a particular script. It's understandable. So, your gesture, your facial expressions, if you're frowning while you're talking, that person will not get a good vibe. You know, vibe. You all say, no, vibe check. Yeah, so that vibe check is important. Your vibe needs to match. Okay, your vibe has to be sunshine because that's what connects the other person. That's the kind of thing that'll garner interest in you, in the other person. He'll be interested in you because your vibe is kind of matching. Your eye contact. Some of us are so nervous, we kind of look down when we are talking, or we look up, or we look into another thing, maybe a showpiece that's there on the cupboard that's behind that person. I don't want to maintain eye contact because eye contact makes me nervous. No, if you are not making eye contact, you are not being able to create the very first connection. Your connection is very, very important with that person. Okay, next is personal space. I shouldn't be invading into anybody else's personal space. For example, you go for an interview and you're sitting across the table, right? And I've seen many young professionals. I have seen students also. Okay, what they do is they come. They are sitting across the table. They have something, a pen maybe or a mobile phone in their hands, and they keep that on the table. No, the table is the interviewer's territory, and I'm not supposed to encroach upon that territory. I'm to stand outside. I shouldn't be a trespasser. So I am not supposed to keep my hands on the table as well. I'll keep it nicely wherever I want to, with my shoulders relaxed but pulled back, because that gives me a posture of confidence. My slouching shoulders will make me look nervous. I'm closing myself. This is to close yourself. This is you're opening it up. You're open minded. This shows you're obtuse. You're not able to accept much. This shows, yeah, come, shoot. I'm ready. That is very important. So I'm not supposed to encroach upon anybody's personal space. My appearance, very important. Where am I going? If I'm going for a wedding, I need to dress up for the wedding with all the glitz and glamour on. If I'm going for an interview, I can't wear a Banarsi sari for an interview. No, my look has to be corporate. My look has to be professional. So you choose your wardrobe accordingly. You choose your hairstyle accordingly. Now, for example, for this meeting, it would have been inappropriate if I would have come in a bandana. That can be my personal style, but that's in my personal life, not in the professional life. So I need to know how to dress up. How well groomed I am is very important for communication. Verbal communication, as I just said, these are all the ideas that I just shared. Speaking clearly and confidently. You can't gulp down your words. Each and every word should cut across to the listener. He has to listen. There's a difference between hearing and listening. If it is effective communication, that person will listen to you. But if you are not being able to express yourself, that person will just hear you. I'm sure you don't want to be just heard, you want to be listened to, right? And confidently, whatever you are speaking, that should be confident. Use very simple, meaningful vocabulary. Vocabulary is important. Learning or knowing synonyms, very important. You can't use that one word 5 times in your speech. You need to know what are the other words that are closest to the meaning of the words that I'm trying to use. So that shows that you're well read. You have a good reservoir of synonyms, of vocabulary. So that is important. Organize your thoughts logically. Logical reasoning is the gift that we have received from the Almighty. What makes us, the humans, the most superior of all beings on earth? Is it our power of speech? Is it? No, not really. Because the other animals also communicate in their own way. We communicate through speech, they also communicate in their own way. What makes us supreme or God's supreme creation is our rationality, our faculty of reasoning. A dog bites me. I won't be running after the dog to bite it, right? I'll be going to get some medical help first. That is what is faculty of reasoning. So, using that, I have to strategize my communication process. What should I say? Introduction, main ideas, and the conclusion. Please understand that I need to respond. I can't react. That is very important. Reaction is instantaneous, it's very impulsive. Response is well thought of, well worded. So we are all looking at response. That is effective communication. You got to maintain an appropriate pitch and tone. That is very important. The way I am speaking to you, okay, is in a particular way which emphasizes on spontaneity. We are trying to develop a kind of communication. Now, suddenly, if I say, so students, what I meant to say is that you all have to communicate in a certain way. Would you like it? Do you like that? No. Because that kind of immediately cuts me off. I'm trying to place myself on a certain pedestal, and if I am standing on that pedestal, I'm not being able to reach you. You're not being able to reach me. So either I have to come down or you have to come up. We have to be on that same level in order to communicate. So my tone, my pitch, and using rhetorics. If you've gone blank, right? You need some time to think. You ask the person, so what do you think? And those 3 seconds or 4 seconds time that you get from that use of rhetoric, so what you think, gives me also some time what I should think next. That's the smart way of communication. Use rhetorics, okay? And avoid fillers. Basically, these are all fillers. Everybody understands that you're not very confident, and therefore you're using those fillers. So those fillers are a complete no. Non-verbal communication, 55% of communication is actually non-verbal. You know, when I joined the meeting, okay, and Matthew sir was speaking, if I would have sat like this, oh no, I would have done 10 different things in this 1 hour. If that, if my body language is such, that's the kind of vibe that I am sending across to you all. That I'm not interested in this. So your body posture, your ways, your gestures, your openness, your eye contact, all this is very important. I always request in whichever panel discussions we participate, or if we are addressing someone, that please keep your videos on, because otherwise I'm not confident enough, and otherwise I'm not fluent enough to communicate to a blank screen. If I see you, your head nod gives me a thumbs up. Like Devansh nodded, and that told me that he is listening to what I'm trying to say. So that is my acknowledgement. Everybody needs acknowledgement in this world. So your communication will be fruitful the moment you get acknowledgement. Appreciation, not needed at all. That comes later. If it comes, wonderful. If it doesn't come, cool. Acknowledgement is there, right? So I'll move ahead. So that is what non-verbal communication does. Your facial expression. If I walk into my class with a frown, good morning, class. As usual, you people haven't prepared, I'm sure. Nobody will like me. Oh, there comes the witch, they'll say. If I am going into my class and happily wishing my boys, good morning, gentlemen, they are happy to receive me. Good morning, ma'am. So there's an effective communication that gets established within 2 seconds of me entering the classroom. That is what communication does. So your gesture needs to be purposeful. I've come here for a purpose. When we go into, we get into this teaching profession, I'm sure all the teachers would agree that we go with the idea of, learning more and more things every day, and we actually get to learn more things every day. I mean, the Gen Z lingo that you people use, i I didn't know anything about it. I had no clue, but it enhances my communication because I've learned it from you all. So today I know what is RITS, what is aura farming. So I get to know and I understand, okay, this is it, fine, I'm going to use it. Huh? And my son is like, from where did you learn this? So, like, I am open. So, you are to be open in order to communicate better, in order to receive good communication. It's not a one-way process, it is a two-way process. Okay, you have to give, you have to receive. Silence and pauses, very important, very powerful. And I go on rambling, rambling, rambling. And the other person is like, what did she say? So you pause and you maintain some authentic silence. That kind of expresses your good communication. Importance of grooming, very important. You know, some students come to school and trust me, they look like they have just got up from bed and they have come to school. Hair is all disheveled, not properly shaved. But there are certain students who take time to groom themselves. Now, if I'm a teacher, if I just, 7 o'clock, I have to go, 7:15, I need to punch, who has the time? I'll just, take a rubber band, tie my head, like, my hair up in a bun, and I'll run to school. No earrings, no nothing. My nail paint is half gone. No, that's not the right way to present yourself. You got to be ready for the occasion every single day, and every little occasion you have to be ready to face it. You don't have time for a nail paint? Fine. You don't have to apply, just remove. There's no need to apply nail paint. But make sure there are none that is there in a residual form in patches. Remove that. Trim your nails nicely. Brush your hair nicely. Whatever you are wearing, old, doesn't matter. Never mind. Just wear that in a confident manner and go and walk. I mean, I can't wear a gown to school. No. Definitely no. But in a school picnic, I'm not going to wear a sari for a school picnic. No. Okay? But I'm not going to wear a short skirt or a jeans to class every single day. I can't do that. I need to know where I'm going, the purpose of it, and the way that I'm supposed to dress up. That's grooming. It reflects your discipline, it reflects your professionalism, it reflects the respect for that profession. That's very important. Okay. It enhances credibility and confidence. The moment somebody sees you, you know what's the first thing that comes to their mind? Can I trust this person? Company is hiring you, they're paying you. First thing that will come, can I trust this person? You're a stranger. How is it that they'll be able to trust you? By looking at you, the confidence that you emanate, that will, you know, strategize your credibility. Your credibility needs to be very, very authentic. And for that, you need to be very well groomed. You have to be very prepared for the occasion because human beings have real trust issues. Okay, the red flags that you see, they're not only in relationships, they're everywhere. So we just have to turn those red flags into green flags by authenticating our credibility. So that is very important. Next is your grooming. What does it include? You have to have a neat attire. I'm not saying new attire. You don't have to run to Mintra and, after this session say that Debanjana ma'am said that we have to dress well. So end of season, end of reason, whatever sale is there, get me new clothes. No, not at all. You just have to wear neat attire. Attire that's suitable for the occasion. Well groomed hair, nails, your hygiene. You should smell good, mindful fragrance. So you should smell good, but then not very loud fragrance again. Okay. Not something very subtle, something that says that I'm there. You're present for the occasion without, hello, I'm present. That's not required. Your very calm presence should just say that I am present. That's it. Subtle accessories. I mean, you are going for an interview. I'm sure you're not going to wear a this long jhumka and go for your interview, right? So you're not going for a wedding, okay? So therefore, you should wear subtle accessories, okay? Clean shoes, very important. That's the least thing we get bothered about, but that's the first thing people notice, your shoes. What are you wearing? Because you feel, or rather we feel, that everybody is going to see or everybody is going to watch or observe what we are wearing. Nobody is going to look at our feet, but that is where a mindful person will first look at your feet. What are you donning or what are you wearing where you feel the least observation will go to? So that's the trick. Wear clean shoes, not new shoes, not very high fashionable shoes, but clean shoes. Um, Self introduction strategies, very important. Now, if I ask you to introduce yourself, okay, I see Yashwant. Yashwant, can you just introduce yourself in maybe 2 lines, 3 lines?
Okay. A very good evening to respected Batu sir and ma'am. I am Yashwant and I am studying 9th standard in Ottawa Lakshmi Public School. And also my strengths are to knowing knowledge about the biology and in geology also. And my weakness is to and my weakness is eating more and more chocolates or anything. So this is about myself. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, okay, great, great, Yashwant, wonderful. So Yashwant, he earlier was a stranger to me. The moment he opened his mouth and he told me about his strengths and his weakness, we got connected. So how well do you communicate when you are asked to self-introduce yourself? See, your CVs or your resumes will have the details about you. So there are certain things that they already know. What is it that you want to highlight? The first thing is the greeting. That is good morning or good evening or good afternoon, whatever it is. Your name and your background. Okay. So I'm Debanjana Sinha Roy. I'm the PGT English teacher from Don Bosco School. Okay. Then comes my education, my experience. I just said I'm the PGT English teacher, Don Bosco School. Yashwant said that he is studying in the 9th standard, right? And then what are your strengths? What are your interests? So I can say that, I actually come from Calcutta and I'm very passionate about public speaking and writing. Okay. And my strengths include creativity, discipline, and probably teamwork. And then I will talk about my purpose and my goal. So I can just say that I enjoy learning new skills and, taking on challenges. And my goal is to build a successful career in education, in leadership management, and communication. So these are the things which a person has to look into my CV very, very, minutely in order to know. The other things, the other details, my age, my date of birth, my marital status, the other requirements, my qualifications, those are very much evident in my CV. I need not repeat it again. I will highlight my strengths, my interest areas, my purpose and my goal when I'm introducing myself. And you have to be very smart in introducing yourself. Why? Because if you do not know yourself, how is it possible that you would know the world? Big talks about self love is the best love. So know yourself first. So when you are talking about yourself, your confidence level should be 100%. Absolutely. No, and nothing of that sort. It comes fluently, it comes spontaneously. Okay. We can also talk about how you present yourself in group discussions. See, group discussions are very important these days. Right. So, maybe, in an interview setup or in a college counseling, group discussions are very much there. Sometimes they make a big group also, and you might not even get a chance to speak in that group. How do you present yourself? How do you get that chance? You snatch that chance. Don't hail the group leader is like you're stopping a bus. Yeah, yeah, ma'am, I want to speak. No, you have to be very calm. You have to be very confident, and you have to actively listen before you speak. You can't be harping on your thoughts and not give a penny of importance to the thoughts of others. That is very important. Okay, so you enter at the right moment. This is the right moment for me to pitch in, and then I speak. You can't interrupt. Somebody is talking, and then you say, you know what I think? Nobody cares what you think, sweetheart. Nobody cares what you think. You got to wait for your chance. You got to wait for the right opportunity, right moment, and then you pitch in your idea. And you support your ideas with examples. Why should I believe you just because you're saying this? That's your idea, fine. But why should I believe you? You establish with an example that this idea of mine is effective because it has its application in place. And you got to encourage others because collaboration is key. You can't dominate and you can't be people's favorite. Okay? Uh, as it is, you won't be people's favorite and you need not be people's favorite. But collaboration is equal to teamwork. That is very important. You got to encourage others if you want to be encouraged yourself because that is quite a relevant issue these days. Presenting yourself in group discussion, again, you have to respect the disagreements politely. What happens on the national televisions these days in the name of debate? Do you really think that's debate? Nation wants to know. Nation doesn't want to know. I also don't want to know. Okay, so and then suddenly somebody storms out of that studio. That's a debate? Really? Nothing is just publicity stunt. You got to be very respectful for the other speakers. You have to show your respect. You can politely disagree. I'm sorry, I don't quite agree, but you know what? And you can present your thought. Summarize your key points with appropriate words, and brevity in expression. Remember, I was telling you about economy of expression? Very few words, but bang on. My idea is clearly conveyed to you. Be short, be clear, be meaningful. And please avoid long, complicated sentences. That's kind of, ringa ringa roses, and I'm going round the bush. Nobody is going to understand what I'm trying to say. So get to the point without much storytelling. And the best rule is the kiss rule. Kiss everybody remembers. Okay. So what is the kiss rule? Keep it short and simple. That's it. Keep it very short. Whatever you need to convey, short, simple. There's no need to use Tharurian English. Any day, Sudha Murthy will have more readers than Shashi Tharoor. I mean, I absolutely admire that gentleman. I love him. But yeah, when I am down and out, I would any day pick up a Roald Dahl, or a Ruskin Bond, or a Jhumpa Lahiri, and not Shashi Tharoor, because I wouldn't want to sit with a dictionary by my side when I'm reading a storybook. So keep it short, keep it simple. No flowery language, no adornments in language, not required at all. Think, breathe, speak. Think what you're trying to say. Breathe because you want that time and space, and that small requirement of time to organize your thoughts, and then you speak. Take your time and speak. It's absolutely perfect to go slow, but it is not perfect to suddenly lose connection. Okay. Common barriers to communication, basically limited vocabulary, which I'm very sorry to say, but today's young generation is suffering from, because we don't read books anymore. We don't read books anymore. We are always watching Netflix or any other, OTT platform. So that doesn't titilize our imagination. Books do. Words titilize your imagination. It creates a story in your mind, a vivid imagery in your mind. So vocabulary can be picked up by reading, reading, and only reading. There's no other alternative to reading. Your fear, your nervousness, overthinking. If I say this, he might think that I am. That's overthinking. Why are you thinking what he's going to think? It's okay, fine. You say what you want to say. There are 10 other companies waiting for you, okay? You are giving your best and you're coming out. You need not fear judgment at all. The fear of judgment makes us overthink. Okay? Cultural differences, the way I pronounce, because I am from the eastern part of India, I will pronounce Roshogolla as Roshogolla. Okay? And someone from North India will say Rasgulla. People down south, they have a different tone in their language, in their dialect. Okay, so cultural differences also are barriers to communication. Set up a standard form of English. Indians follow the British English. So look up for the British English pronunciation, not the American. Nowadays, people are very cool saying schedule. No, it's not schedule, sweethearts. It's the very old schedule. Stick to schedule. Currently and presently. No, currently I'm working with Don Bosco School at my situation right now. Presently is what is soon to happen. Okay, so presently I'll be pursuing a course on management studies. Very soon I'm going to pursue a course on management studies. So that is currently and that is presently. Lack of clarity and distractions. If I'm trying to communicate and then some messages come on my phone and I'm looking at my phone, that's a distraction. The other person will feel that you're not interested in him anymore. So that is not a very healthy communication. How to improve English communication? Read daily. Whatever you get, read. I specifically used to read even anything written on packets that used to come. The newspaper packets, they used to be earlier, they used to be wrapped up and given. I used to read those also. Seriously, because we didn't have those Netflix and all that. So Mama used to scold. So I used to take the blanket on and take the torch and read storybooks under the blanket. That's how I developed my eye power. Read, read, and read. There's no alternative to reading. Watch English news podcasts. Another thing I forgot to add: good movies. Good movies. Watch movies, meaningful movies. Schindler's List, Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Okay, Life is Beautiful. Good ones, Breakfast at Tiffany's, Roman Holiday, Shawshank Redemption, good movies. Okay, that one, Robbie Williams, Dead Poet Society, The Reader. These are good movies. You should watch good movies. Practice speaking with friends. Your school teachers must be saying, please speak in English. You're using your vernacular. Because if you do not speak in English, that fluency beta will never come. That fluency comes only when you start speaking in English. That is when the fluency comes. And you record yourself. What I used to do is, I used to take up a newspaper, the front page article, any article for that matter. I used to stand in front of the mirror and I used to read that every single day. The last two words, I used to look into the mirror and say, speak. So that way I used to have a control over my grimaces, over my gestures, over the kind of, facial expression that I'm using. And you engage in debates, discussions, various stage events. Don't get scared. Sometimes the fear of public speaking, we get scared that maybe if I go up on the stage, I'll get nervous and I will not be able to speak. I remember class 8, I was given a chance for a debate. The senior was absent, so I was given the script. I was asked to learn and go up on the stage and do it. I was into debating and I thought that I'll be able to do it. I was overconfident and I went onto the stage. I just introduced myself and I went poof, blank. And I stood there for a good 1 minute, couldn't utter a word. So I was the youngest, so the judges had some pity and said, you come back at last again. Then finally I said that no, I'll be able to. Second time I'll be able to. Second time I went, I did the same thing. Did that break me? No. Even today, when I'm going up on the stage, okay, to perform or to, speak or whatever it is, my knees start shaking because we are all humans. We get nervous. But that nervousness should not ever reflect on your face. That's all. Nervousness, gulp it down and speak. That is effective communication, nothing else. Okay. Storytelling, actually, maybe today it's a very short time because storytelling is a different ball game altogether. Storytelling needs one entire session. How can we use storytelling for effective communication? Everything, if you actually watch those, the advertisements these days, okay, you will see that the brands use a lot of storytelling these days. That's how they cut across to the audience. Maybe you people are very young, you won't remember, but back in the day, when Vodafone was a very happening company, there used to be a pug that used to follow a particular boy everywhere. Okay, so that was effective storytelling. What does it say? That wherever you go, our network will always be there. It will never lose you. It will never, abandon you, just like your pet never abandons you. That is what is storytelling. Okay, so we use a lot of storytelling in professional setups also. We use a lot of storytelling in our classes as well. Okay, so the act of sharing experiences in narratives, that is what storytelling is. For example, when I did a course from IIM Calcutta on educational management. And when I went, I observed a certain thing. They have a lot of, land monitors you have seen. The land monitor look like these little alligator sort of animals, basically. There are a lot many land monitors in the campus. It's a sprawling, beautiful campus. And this particular land monitor is seen everywhere. Now they have this idea when their placement happens that everybody has to achieve, a particular company, have to be placed in a particular company, and then the students, the batch of students, they celebrate. So there was this one fellow who was not very confident and he was not getting selected by any of the companies. Now everybody was very worried that that one fellow is not getting a chance. And the last day of their placement interviews, this fellow was walking to that particular amphitheater where the interview was supposed to take place, and he was coming, and the land monitor crossed his path. Okay. And that day he landed up with a job. So a narrative got built that they used to call the land monitor Montu. Okay, that was the name given by the students. Anywhere they would see a land monitor, they would call it Montu. So they used to say that the spotting of Montu is what is lucky for this particular boy, and he landed up with a job that very day. So everybody, next batch onwards, whenever they went for an interview, they would quickly look for the land monitor everywhere. Where is Montu? Where is Montu? Because spotting Montu is a lucky charm for them. What do you think this is? This is a narrative that got built. This is narrative. Now, based on this particular narrative, we can have ample number of stories. So if IIM Calcutta sometimes wants to bring out a particular ad, they can use this particular narrative to show unity, to show brotherhood, to show camaraderie, anything. So success for that matter. So the land monitor becomes symbolistic over here as a very effective institute that gives you shape and form professionally. So storytelling is very important. Why storytelling matters? Because we connect with the stories emotionally. Why do you think these daily soaps are, such favorites to our grandmas and our aunties? Because they feel the pain that is going on in their lives in those characters. Hare, she's suffering just like me. So there's an immediate connect. That's what storytelling does. There's an immediate connect. And that's how storytelling stays in your mind for a long time when we actually, juxtapose it with normal passing information. So it simplifies complex concepts. It builds credibility, trust that you are suffering. I'm also there. I'm also going through the same thing. So you have company and inspires action and change. So as I just said that plain information is just basically fact and data. Storytelling brings in a lot of emotions and everything. And it's kind of very logical and relatable. Um, Storytelling stays on for a lot of time. Our characters, our setting, the challenge that is there in storytelling, action, resolution, and what is the takeaway. That is also very important in storytelling. Maybe we can have a different, session on storytelling later because it's a big concept actually. And there are structures also. How do you build a story in order to enhance visibility of a brand, for example? Okay, or an idea. How do you bring forward to it? And there are various types of storytelling. If you see the TED Talks, what are they? They're just inspirational stories. Their autobiographical content is immense. They're just sharing the story of your life and inspiring you in a certain manner. So the kind of stories that we use in communication, they are different types, and we can take it up maybe one fine day if Matthew sir definitely agrees. And how to use storytelling effectively, we'll do another session maybe. How to use the tone, pauses, and everything. And it's very powerful. Personal stories are very powerful. It has the kind of power to either build or break. So, because we connect immediately with storytelling. And what are the common mistakes to avoid? Again, the same thing. Don't do any over drama. Irrelevant stories are not good for communication. Lack of natural flow. If I'm reading out my content, it makes no sense then. Okay, so that is also very important. So, that's basically what today's communication session was. And if you have any questions, please shoot. Yes.
Ma'am, actually, first of all, good evening, ma'am. Ma'am,
Good
actually,
evening.
you said that the gestures, like, ma'am, they should not be distracting. They should be, like, planned and all. So, ma'am, I couldn't understand that because I've been in public speaking for, like, all my school life. And
Yeah.
that has been, like, such a dilemma that should I use my hands or will it be distracting to the audience?
No, no, no. It won't be distracting if you are using your hands to prove your point. Like, for example, I'm also continuously using my hands. But if you are debating and you are standing at a podium and you bump the podium like this, that's distraction. That kinds of brings on to your, it reveals your arrogance, it reveals your irritability, That is something which stands as a distraction. So you have to be very subtle with your gestures, but at the same time, your gestures indicate that you are very spontaneous. So you have to cleverly use your gestures.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
Ma'am,
Anyone
can you
else?
just
Anything?
stop share the presentation so that others are visible?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Good evening, ma'am. So,
Good evening.
what you said that we have to gulp down the nervousness. Could you like explain the point a little more?
Yeah. See, the thing is that when you are going up on stage or you are, you're about to face a stranger and you're about to begin your talk and you have to establish a connection with somebody you don't know, right? So you will be nervous. You will be a tad bit worried that I don't know how that person is going to judge me. And that fear of judgment will be there in you. But that has to be within, you know and outward your show is that you are very confident. You should feel confident, but at the same time, that whatever anxiety is there, you gulp it down, you know and then you kind of show that, yeah, I am ready to face any particular situation. So your nervousness should not show on your face with a frown, or with with actions which are kind of, we don't realize but we do, like maybe scratching your head or pulling your ear, because sometimes we get nervous and that's what we do. We shake our legs. So those things you have to be very conscious about. You don't do those things, and which you keep control over your body, over your gestures, over your body movements, your body posture, then your calmness automatically emanates itself. It exudes confidence.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
But ma'am, on the same thing, ma'am, I want to ask, like, I am someone like who overthinks a lot. So, ma'am, sometimes when I talk to anyone, I would start planning out that if I say this, then they will say this, so I will say this. So
Huh.
that takes me off the conversation, and I'm like, could you
Yes,
repeat again?
yes, yes, because that's a distraction. When you are assuming something, you know then you are, that's a result of overthinking. In very casual language, not formal at all, uh, let me just say something. The spelling of assume is ASSUME. Sometimes I tell my students, when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me, because by assumption you don't gain anything. So when I'm assuming, I'm thinking that if I say this, that person will think in this way, then I might be saying this. So you're planning so much due to your overthinking that main idea gets lost all of a sudden and you're off the track. And if you are off the track, it's very difficult for you to come back. You've played Need for Speed and all that, those video games, those are that are there. So if you go off the track, it's very difficult to come back to the race and join again. So you have to remain in your track, and overthinking, you have to keep it in your pockets when you are communicating, because that never helps. It's very difficult. You might say that, ma'am, it's very easy to say, but it comes with practice, years of practice. It doesn't just go away all of a sudden. This one session is not magical, that after this you will not ever overthink. That doesn't happen. But if you consciously practice it, because your thoughts are confident thoughts, you are sharing those thoughts because you believe in those thoughts. So that in itself should be very much, it should spell confidence for you, that my thoughts, I'm going to share these thoughts, I'm going to express these thoughts because I'm confident in it. Now this person might accept, might not accept, that's his or her perspective. You should give a good amount of space to everybody's perspective. It's your perspective, it's my perspective. It's fine to reject or to accept. You move on with it. Overthinking will just distract you. It'll do nothing else. It's not constructive at all.
Thank you, ma'am. Because, ma'am, it has always been like
I
take
know.
risks, take opportunities, but at the same time, I'm overthinking
Yeah.
everything.
Yes, yes. Overthinking, because we kind of get very conscious about our image. That is when we start overthinking. That if I say this, then, might be that I will be considered this. So that it's okay. You are who you are. If people can accept you in your authenticity, good for them. If they can't accept you for, in your authenticity, please make way for others. It's fine. That confidence you need to have. But that presentability, that grooming, you should put your best. That's what it is. Okay, you should be very confident in what you wear, you present, you speak, your tone. Everything needs to be perfect. Not perfect, but somewhat like perfect. Perfect doesn't exist.
Thank you, ma'am.
God bless. Any other
Anybody else
questions,
wants to
anyone?
share something, some takeaways? Maybe you can share something or ask a question. Please go ahead. So then we'll wrap up in another 2-3 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, Pratibha.
Hello, ma'am. Lovely
Hello.
session. So, I had a quick question. So,
Yes.
in a virtual setting, how do we communicate better non-verbally? That's my.
Okay. Yes. Very, very pertinent question, I must say, that in a virtual setting, when there's a wall, a digital wall between you and me, how do I communicate better? First and foremost, you have to uh, just loosen yourself up and you have to leave your inhibitions. You dress up in accordance to the occasion that you have. Okay, just because you're doing it from the comfort of your home, you just don't sit for a particular interview in your pajamas and your t-shirt because you're working from home. That's the first thing. Your presentability is very important. You have to look into your surroundings also. It's completely fine if you use a virtual backdrop, a professional one. Okay, not some exotic place like the Bahamas behind me. No. Okay, so that is very important. And also the spontaneity of it. You are who you are. That digital wall should not just change your perception of things. You have to be very clear with your ideas. For that, if you need to rehearse, rehearse. That's why I said that record yourself. Listen to how you uh, are heard or how you sound when you speak. That's very important. Very few of us know how we sound when we speak. So record your speech, record something and listen to it. Look at the gaps that you are using. Look at the pace that you are using. Look at the tone that you are using. Be yourself, be normal. But of course, you cannot be absolutely informal in a formal setting. And you can't be very formal in an informal setting. You have to understand what am I doing at what point of time in front of whom. These are the three vital questions. If you find these three answers, bang on.
Can we have one more question? Then we'll.
Yeah.
Ekta, you want to? So Ekta is someone who's put in a lot of effort in learning English. She had shared in her first meeting. You want to share
Yes.
something, Ekta?
Wonderful, Ekta.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
I want to ask that from 6th to 12th, I learned like I'm speaking in Hindi, and I whatever I learn in Hindi. So what I do for improve my communication in English,
Yeah.
because English is really important in today's world. That's why.
Yes, Ekta. First and foremost, wonderful that you are putting in so much of effort. What happens, when we are comfortable in the vernacular language, our thoughts also come in that vernacular language. And when we are trying to put it into English, what we do is we transform those thoughts then, we translate those thoughts into English. And if you will see a lot of this in the English novels written by the Indian writers in English. For example, I think it was Salman Rushdie, where in Midnight's Children, he used that phrase, God knows what. We use it, right, often. We often say, God knows what. But it came from Bhagwan Jane Kya. It was a direct translation from Hindi to English. Anybody, an Englishman, listening to God knows what, will laugh at us. Okay, but we Indians have Indianized English in a certain way, and they shouldn't be laughing because in one of the Shashi Tharoor's debates, I heard that the British, they have used our Hindi word loot, and that is now an English word, loot, and they have used it in the Oxford Dictionary. So what you do, Ekta, is you start reading newspapers religiously every single day, and you read one particular article aloud and do it in front of a mirror so that you can keep a check on your body language, on your facial expressions. Some of us, make a face like this when we are speaking. You should look presentable when you speak. Okay, and you stand in front of the mirror, hold it, and the last two words of each line, try to keep it in your mind, look into the mirror and speak, because our brain is like sponge. It will absorb information. So don't think that you will forget those last two words. You will remember. Try, you will see that you will get a result. Do it every single day. Speak to your friends as much as possible in English. Try to communicate in English, whatever, however you know. First, you will stumble, but then later on, once you pick up the speed, it's like learning a bicycle. First, you will fall, but then once you are, you get that speed, you'll be flying like a bird in the sky. Of course, on the road, but then the speed will be unmatchable. So that's hard what you do. It's just that relentless hard work and confidence that you need to have. And read
Thank you,
as
ma'am.
much as possible. Read.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
God bless.
So I think we had a wonderful session. I mean, thank
Thank
you,
you, sir.
Debanjana ma'am, for sparing your valuable time. And so many take off from so many points you brought about that we can apply in our real lives. And also, many students have over this period of 1.5 months that I've been there, many of them have been looking forward the session for communication strategies.
Right.
So, and this, I think it's like has been a perfect package for them because you could put in so many things in this short period of time. You wanted to say so many more things, but
Yeah.
I could see that. But we'll try to bring you back on another day to complete that. But I'm sure there were a lot of takeaways today, and it is going to be useful for everyone who attended today's session because we can practice, we can go through the recording of today's video and also learn the tips, especially ma'am shared on verbal and non-verbal communications. Also, many of us don't speak because of the fear. That was a very good thing that ma'am shared, that speak your heart out, speak your mind out, and also about the inhibition part. So one thing also I want to share is that, correct me if I'm wrong, Devanja ma'am, that pronunciation has to be correct. That is no doubt
Yes.
about it. But since we come from different parts of India, we have different
Mm.
accents. So
Yes.
the
True.
accent difference doesn't mean our pronunciation is wrong. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so some people get confused. I am from South India, ma'am is from Bengal. The pronunciation is same, but our accents, the way we speak, will be different.
True.
So some people have this misconception that that person is speaking in a particular accent, and that pronunciation is wrong. Pronunciation is same, but the accents differ.
True.
Am I right, ma'am?
Absolutely
Yeah.
correct, sir.
So many people
Absolutely.
have this inhibition of speaking because they feel that they have an accent. So
Mm.
that is perfectly fine as long as your pronunciations are correct. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so please go ahead, practice, and in the coming days, I'm sure that whatever tips ma'am has shared, you will actually apply it in your real life. And we'll, probably try to bring ma'am back after a month or so, or whenever she is free before we finish the program. So in the meantime, thank you and God bless you all. Thank you all for uh, attending these sessions very religiously. As I always say in all the meetings, I am very appreciative of the fact that young students like you are coming forward, giving time for something that is very important in life, that is to develop life skills. So thank you, Devanda ma'am. Also, great
Thank
having
you,
you. I'm
sir. Thank
sure.
you. It was such an honor to be in this particular session. Loved it.
Thank
Enjoyed
you.
the energy.
Thank you so much, everyone. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Thank you,
Good
sir.
night,
Thank
everyone.
you,
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Right,
Thank
sir.
you, sir. Good night.
Good night.